I've owned my Ford Maverick for 1 year, driven over 13,000 miles, and I love this thing, except the fact that the check engine light is on. It still has problems, and they're probably not gonna get fixed anytime soon. But hey, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, Josh here with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and I realize I've not made a video on my truck, the 2022 Ford Maverick, in I think over a year. And the last one I made was about the 5 things I really don't like. I found more that I don't like, but in actuality, I have loved this truck. I get questions every time I fill up for gas, or even I get stopped at the grocery store and people want to know, what do you think? Would you encourage somebody else to buy this? So I'm going to do a little deep dive on the things I really love about this truck, why I believe it really is the best vehicle for me and the things that I do in my life, and also some of the things that I'm not too stoked about. Now, before we jump in, just a friendly reminder, if you don't know, these trucks are super sought after. You can't get one new unless you pay like $10,000 over MSRP, which is ridiculous. And if you today wanted to order one, you can't. The ordering window for 2023 was 6 days, and that was back in September, and they sold too many and aren't even gonna be able to fulfill all those. So who knows the next time you can get one. But if the chance comes for you to buy one, let me tell you some things I wish I would have known before I bought this. Now, there are a ton of things I love about this truck that are great for daily driving that aren't really that luxurious or things that people would talk about, but make a big difference. First, let's talk about the air conditioning or the climate control. This auto button here is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. A lot of cars have auto climate control. You can set the fans yourself here to be higher or lower, but it's really nice to set the temperature you want, hit auto, and normally the fans kick on pretty high and you won't want them to, so you have a choice of going full high fan, or you can go medium or low. And that's great because you get the temperature you want, but can adjust how much air you have circulating. And I have not seen this on any other vehicle that I've owned, which is a nice touch from Ford. Another thing is the overall infotainment system. The screen here is very, very simple. The infotainment system is simple. The radio is not complex. Things are pretty responsive. And when you plug in your phone, Apple CarPlay pops up quickly, which is the only thing that I would care about. So good job again, Ford, on the simplicity of this truck. Another thing is something that I noticed having the hybrid model. I love having a hybrid. I had a Prius before this, love the gas mileage. And when you go downhill on this, with hybrids, you always wish there was a little bit more regenerative braking. This clicks in automatically. Let me show you. So I'm going very slow downhill on a little back road, and you'll see this little green guy right there is some sort of sensor that lets a truck know it's going downhill. And if you see this here, this is the regenerative braking. That's recharging your battery. And I don't have my foot on any pedal right now. And this thing is just making me go very, very slow down a very steep hill. And when you level out, even if you're going down a hill, this one doesn't, but it will turn off that little notification and your truck will continue to regenerative brake, but just go a little bit faster, which is, again, a very nice touch for a cheap truck. Another thing Ford did very well was the lane keep assist, or making sure you don't go outside of your lane, and it turns on automatically. It's about 35 miles an hour. As soon as you go that fast, that green turns on, which lets you know your steering wheel is going to keep you right in the center of that wheel or keep you from going out. Again, a small touch. You don't have to press a button every time you start your truck in order to keep your truck going straight where you want it to be. All right, another thing I really love is the amount of storage in this truck. You have storage right here under the elbow rest. Of course, you've got your glove box, you've got sunglass storage up here, but then things get better when you go to the back seat. I can't show you right now because I have my son's car seat, but this bottom seat pops up and you have a bunch of storage where I can put like bikes equipment, and then this seat folds down and it's pretty thin storage, but you can put a blanket or a towel or two, and it just really stacks up. And then in the back, this is another interesting thing. My truck did not come with these, but the higher end models, the XLT and the Lariat do. And this is just a storage box so you can put things like tie downs. I've got jumper cables in the other side, a bike lock that's ready to go. And I want to say that each of these was $40, and you just kind of use the screws that are already there. And this amount of storage for a little truck like this makes a huge difference. And I'll say last thing is the truck bed. As you see, I have my little bike rack back here, and putting any size bike super easily, not too high up, makes this bed ideal for bikes. For storing wood, you can actually prop this tailgate up with these little connectors here. And this makes a flat surface so that a 4x8 piece of plywood slides right in, fits perfectly. I've grabbed a ton from the hardware store, and I gotta say, when it comes to day-to-day use, this truck is extremely hard to beat. So again, overall, this truck has been very good, and I'll tell you why I love it so much at the end. But I want to talk about things that haven't been so great, but I don't want to get too nitpicky. So first is the gas mileage. Now I have the hybrid. You can see for the last 363 miles, I've gotten 33 miles per gallon. But if we take that and go to a bigger window, 7,800 miles, it's still only been 34.1. And a big part of this problem is the little button right here that adjusts and makes it go into eco mode. And it's quite annoying that every time I get in my truck, I have to click that button 5 times in order to get a little bit better gas mileage. I feel like that's a simple software update in order to allow it to keep its setting where it's at. And the gas mileage has been good, but here in Washington State, in a hilly area with a little bit colder temperatures at time, it makes the gas mileage not as good as it could be, but still amazing for a pickup truck. The other thing that can be annoying is at times the infotainment system will get a little freaked out. The Apple CarPlay won't work or the stereo won't turn on. And I heard a simple fix on YouTube that is all you have to do is hold the power button and the next button. And if you hold it, you'll see that all of a sudden the screen will turn off. Oh, it looks like it's trying to go to the next radio station. Let's see if it corrects itself. There we go. And then when it turns back on, it restarts your whole infotainment system and makes it work well again. That saved my butt at least once a month, so it's quite nice to know that little trick. All right, the elephant in the room, the check engine light. This is the part of owning this truck that has been the biggest pain in my side. And it's not the fact that the check engine light is on. That's actually not been that big of a deal. The issue is that since it is the first year model of this truck, and since the demand for vehicles is so high, there's been huge issues getting the parts that I need. My check engine light has come on 2 times for 2 separate, very small issues. This one right now is, I think it's the conversion that converts from hybrid to electric, makes it so that the engine stutters a little bit when it does that transition. And the part is not that expensive. I went into the Ford dealership. They told me, you can still drive your truck. It's not ideal, but when the part comes in, we'll let you know. That was a month ago, and there's no plan on that part coming in. I've heard of people waiting 4 or 5 months for it. And that's been really annoying. Another thing is that there's been 2 recalls on this truck for an airbag and then another panel underneath the engine. And for one of them, I was able to get it done, but for the other one, they said, I'll let you know. And that was 4 months ago. And so it's just really frustrating to have a first model year run vehicle, not that it has issues, but that they're not able to fix the issues as easily as they could. And so it's kind of embarrassing to be driving a brand new vehicle that has a check engine light on with no fix in sight, and I would just assume another problem is going to pop up. Now, back to the high level picture. This truck literally provides everything I need in a vehicle. I really don't need much, but the things I enjoy that are a luxury. It's nice to have a truck. In order to throw a mountain bike over the back, I go mountain biking all the time. I've taken trips up into Canada or down south to ride, and it's nice to have a couple buddies in my truck and be able to put our bikes over the tailgate. Along with that, getting better gas mileage for a truck. This is literally the highest gas mileage truck you can buy right now. And for me, that makes it a great fit. And so even though I've had small issues where I keep having to go back to the dealer, or I'm just sitting on wait and hold, or at times I have to press a button 5 times in order to get better gas mileage, overall, it's all first world problems, and I've really, really enjoyed the vehicle. The driving position is nice. There's a bunch of bells and whistles that make it great. So there's my 1-year review. If you're thinking about buying a Maverick, I would really encourage it. I have a feeling Ford's going to get their act together in the next model years, and it's only going to get better and better. But I do have to admit, the only thing I don't like about this vehicle is I wish it was a Toyota. I loved my Toyota Tundra. My wife has a Honda. If it was a Japanese vehicle, it would be a slam dunk. Right now though, Ford's doing a pretty good job as long as they can fix the minor issues. All right, you know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching a guy talk about his truck, but get out there, go enjoy life, go ride your bike, go drive your Maverick, whatever it may be. Make sure you do it every day.